Hi, it's Cara, and it's time for another Library Books wrap-up video. So I have 4 books here that I'm going to be wrapping up today. These I read relatively recently, which is exciting and, fun, because let's talk about them, like, right now. They're, of course, only since the last time I did a wrap-up, which was... I don't know anymore. I don't know my uploading schedule. Like, one of the last videos I uploaded. Go check it out. Go check it out. But yeah, so these aren't anything to do with months, but since the last wrap-up video for this season of library books that we're doing. So the first book I read since then was To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. This book is about a girl called Lara Jean, who is pictured here, who, as she had crushes in high school and middle school and elementary school too, I think, like just as she grew up, and she had crushes, she wrote down about that person in a letter format to them as a kind of self-breakup, if that makes sense, like separating herself from the crush, therefore she could move on with her life, etc., etc. And then one day her box gets mailed out and lots of things kind of happen, and I don't know what my feelings are anymore. So this book totally screwed with my head in a way that, like, most contemporaries don't, and not in any kind of major, super bizarre way, but my feelings for who I wanted to be with who were totally all over the place. I was feeling the love for some characters, and then I hated them, and then I loved other characters, and then I hated them, and then I loved the same characters I had previously hated, and I loved them again. And essentially, I was on a little emotional roller coaster of character angst, and I loved it. I think I gave this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. It wasn't super up there for me because there were other books that I know are better than it, but I still absolutely loved this book. I just whacked myself in the face. I'm really excited to check out more from Jenny Han, and I am very excited to read the sequel for this. I didn't know how it was going to be a sequel, but I got to the end and I understand now. I understand. I just have a lot of feelings about Lara Jean and about this book. So yes, 4.5 out of 5 stars from me. Then I read We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This is one of those books that you either love it or you hate it, I feel. It's very polarized. But I was in the love it camp for this, and probably because I am extremely gullible. It is very, very hard for me to tell foreshadowing at all. Only the most obvious foreshadowing enters my mind. I read things and go, oh, cool, and I never see foreshadowing. So for me, the ending came as a shock and a surprise, and wowza. Whoa. I won't talk about the plot of this at all, because it's kind of important to go in not knowing a thing, but so good. If you're easily gullible, that's such a bad thing to say, but if you don't see foreshadowing too much, this would blow your mind. If you're an over-analytical person who finds every little bit of foreshadowing, probably not so much. But I'm definitely a fan of this book and will definitely be recommending it over the summer at work because it was so good. So good. I also gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read also blew my mind. I read a bunch of really good books in this little period. And it was The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. This was so good. I gave it a 5 stars. 5-star rating. I'm going to say that now before I forget because I always seem to forget. This follows a girl called Cassie who is, she believes she's one of the only survivors of the alien invasion that has taken over Earth. We are currently dealing with the 5th wave of the alien invasion. The first wave was a communications cutout, all electricity was stopped. So a lot of people died from like car crashes and plane crashes and things. The second was a tsunami, which did more killing. The third was a plague, And the fourth was The Silences, which kind of play out a bit in this one. And we are coming on to the fifth wave, which just blows your mind. Like, this book was so good. This is one of those books from this library haul, like this library season that I'm doing, that I think I'm going to have to buy myself because I really want to buy The Infinite Sea and I really want to have this on my shelf to reread in the future because it is so good. The action is so fast paced and intense. The characters are enjoyable. I took my time reading this, but the pages seemed to fly by. It was kind of an oxymoron. I felt like I was never reading it, but I somehow got there and finished it really, like, within a couple of days. It was weird, but I loved it. It was just so gripping. The characters were so engaging, the plot and everything, and I really want to know where this goes next in The Infinite Sea. So probably soon I will be picking up that book and I'll be reading it when I get round to it because I loved this. Yes. And then the last book I have to show you today is The Selection by Kira Cass. This is like everyone's guilty pleasure read, and I kind of have to say the same. I think I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it a lot. It essentially follows America, who is this girl who is kind of poor, not super poor, but on the poorer end of the spectrum, and she's been entered into this competition, which is essentially like The Bachelor, to become the next queen, and somehow I'm not even a fan of The Bachelor. I don't like reality television whatsoever. But somehow this was so entertaining. I flew through it. It was fabulous. I'll probably read the rest. I don't think I'll purchase it myself. I think I'll get them from the library. But this was super duper fun. Much recommend. Totally trashy, but great. Great. So these were the books I read since we last did a wrap up. Yeah, I really don't have much more to say other than that. These are going to go back to the library in a couple of days. And the book I'm currently reading is so long, so I know I'm not going to get it finished before these have to go back, which is why I'm filming today. But yeah, yep, I'm really excited about all of these books. They were all so good, particularly The Fifth Wave and We Were Liars. Mind blown. Whew. Mind in a mush puddle on the floor. And I'm just really excited to be reading more good books in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought of any of these books if you've read them down in the comments below, and I will be seeing you shortly with another wrap up, I am sure. I will see you then. Bye!